Well, welcome to JD Robb Saturday. And this is going to be a little different because I did review all the books and you can pull them all up in Death Dealer's book series. It should come up. Um but I'm also this year because they're my comfort reads. Uh reading all the characters, reading all the character interactions and trying to stay away from the plot line. This one will be different though. And hey, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm seeing the Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no demons, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And this one's gonna be a little different because it's not a novella. It's short, it's only about 100 or so pages. But if you don't know, up here and over in the paranormal section, I'm a vampire person. And this is a vampire novel. So plot is gone. You're gonna get it all today. The guy is trying to convince people that these ladies are dying uh because they were bitten by a vampire. And my co-host is here. So we're just going for broke here. Eve is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Her husband is Rourke. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's life partner, but he's also a detective in ADD. That's the electronic division. Feeney is her former mentor, and he is captain of EDD. And we don't really see too much other peeps in this because it is a short story. um I don't think there's Morris. We go to the morgue. We see Morris. I think we see Baxter and Trueheart a little bit, but we will get. And when Somerset, the major domo, we see him, and Rourke, of course, her husband. So let's get to it. We will be reading so this way back in the day, I miss it. She doesn't do it anymore, but I miss it. Nora used to put out 6 books a year. The trilogy, which she always does. And then 2 hardcovers, Eve, and 1 or 2 novellas. She doesn't do the novellas anymore. But and I miss it. She hasn't done these in quite a while. I'm not. I think there's 1 or 2 more. We got to get past Alice in Wonderland. There's 1 or 2 more. I guess I'm not really interesting. So, anyways, this girl was massively, massively rich, and she wanted to be. She wanted to be. She thought at whatever age she is, early 20s, that she was perfect, in perfect condition, and she didn't want to change. And so she bought into the theory that this guy would bite her, drain all her blood, and she would become immortal. She bought it. She bought it hook, line, and sinker. And of course she died. And we just play with the vampire theme the whole book, and it's just too much. She hadn't fought him, Eve thought, as she bent over the body, even when he drained the blood out of her. She hadn't fought him. 2 puncture wounds, left side of throat, Eve said. The only visible injury. bagged the hands. Maybe she scratched him. Not as much blood as you'd think there'd be, Peabody cleared her throat. Not nearly enough. You know what they look like on her neck? Bite marks, like fangs. You think the ugly little dog the maid's got in the kitchen bit her on the neck? No. Come on, Dallas, you know what it looks like. It looks like a DB. It looks like the Vic had a date that went over the top. There's going to be illegals in her system, something that dulled her down or hyped her up for her killer to jab something in her throat or sink his teeth into it if he had the incisors filed 2 points or was wearing an appliance. Then he bled her out, and she just lay there and let him. I'm saying it looks like your classic vampire bite. Well, put out an APB on Dracula. Meanwhile, it's find out if she was just possibly seeing someone with a heartbeat. Oh, and I forgot to mention this is book 24 and a half. So then let's skip a little further down the line here. Got the club. Peabody studied the readout on her PPC as they drove toward Top Central. Daffy had it right about Times Square. It's under Broadway. Got the hours too. Sunset to sunrise. Vampire hours. Eternity Corporation. No owner or manager listed in the data. Dig. Are we going by this club now? If the guy frequents the place, works in the place, or owns the place, he's not going to be there when the joints close. We'll go after dark. I knew you were going to say that. Aren't you just a little bit creeped? I mean, at very least, this guy slurps blood. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. You gotta love it. Dead of night, eternity and death. That's what I get for getting up too early. So then Eve, at some point during the day, Eve calls Rock. And it's always one of those, how? She just saw him 5 minutes ago, but it's still, how? Dark hair framed it, eyes of wild Irish blue, gave her heart just a quick flutter that even after 2 years of having them look at her just that way was a surprise. Those perfectly sculpted lips curved as he said, Lieutenant, with his wisp of homeland in the world. How come you're not buying Australia? I'm just between buying continents at the moment. I believe Asia's up next. How are you? Okay, I know we sort of had this dinner thing for tonight. Dinner, I believe it was, followed by naked poker. That was strip poker, as I recall. You'd be naked soon enough, but I'm thinking that competition's been postponed. You have Tiara, can't I take it? Heard of her already? Multi-millionaire bad girl murdered in her luxury penthouse? Word travels. How did she die? Vampire bite! That again, he said and made her laugh. She was into some kind of vampire cult crap, and it came back to well bite her. I've got to check out this club where she likely met her killer. It doesn't open till sunset. I'm going to be running late. Almost as interesting as naked poker. I'll meet you at Central at 6. I got this hair someplace. You gotta love it. Come on, you gotta have fun with it. Then, oh, I forgot. She talks to Mira in this book. Mira is the department shrink. And, the compulsion may be his. A craving for the taste of blood, one that escalated to the need to drain his victim. Have you gotten the autopsy results yet? No. I wonder if they'll find she drank blood as well. If so, you may be dealing with a killer who believes he's a vampire and who sought to turn her into one by taking her blood and sharing his own with her. If at first you don't succeed, yes, he may very well try again. The rush, the power, particularly when coupled with sex and drugs, would be a strong pull. And she made it easy for him, even profitable. How could he resist? Why should he? He was able to enter her highly secured building undetected, more power, and again cementing the illusion of a supernatural being. She gave herself to him through sex, blood, through death, held in thrall, whether by his will or chemicals, another element. He removed her blood from the scene, a souvenir perhaps, a trophy, or yet another element of his power. His need for blood and his ability to take it. And you believe she was drugged. I haven't confirmed that, but yeah, her closest pal states she was using, and heavily the week or so. If he drank any of her blood, he'd have shared the drugs. Seeing Eve had already considered that, Mira nodded. More power or the illusion from it. From what you know, they only met a week or two earlier. It wasn't eternal love, which is one way of romanticizing vampires. Gotta love you vampires. Gotta love you vampires. Come on. And where did I wrote this down, but I don't know why I didn't put a thing. Oh, so this is a couple hours later, and Rock comes to Central to meet her, like scheduled. Lieutenant. She glanced over, experienced a quick heart punch when her eyes met Rock's. He was dressed in the dark suit he put on in her bedroom that morning, one of the countless he owned, tailored to fit his long, langy frame. Right on time, she said. We aim to please. He stepped in, eased a hip on the corner of her desk. How's the vampire hunting going? I don't think we'll have to call in Van Helsing. When he lifted his eyebrows and grinned, she shrugged. I do my research. Plus, I've sat through some of those old vids you like so much, and so armed we'll venture into the den of the children of the night. Never a dull moment, he added, and his fingers at the choppy ends of her hair. Your case is all over the media. Yeah, bound to be. Ah, come on. So, why did I want this? Um, Underground pop-ups faster than weeds, McNabb put in. Oh, McNabb's here too. Peabody's partner and EDD detective. Urban legend that people tend to go down and not come back up. They don't get heavy tourist traffic. Tierra Kent found out about it somewhere. Eve strode off the elevator and into the garage. Crowd she runs with, Peabody jerked his shoulder. New place with a jagged edge, it would be right up her alley. And in less than 2 weeks from the first time she goes down, she's guzzling a new, exciting, illegal cocktails and dies from a neck wound. That's fast work, smooth work when you consider the security in her building never made 'em. She glanced over at Rook. How much would a few pints of human blood net on the black market? A few hundred? What about famous human blood? Ah, yes, that might have driven up the price to the right buyer. Are you thinking she was specifically targeted? It's an angle. Would you stop? Then more conversation, and then Eve goes, she noticed something about Peabody. Eve caught the jest, but good thing none of us believe in blood-sucking soulless demons. But Peabody's hand crept over and found McNabb's. Eve caught the gesture in the rear view, just as she caught the way the fingers of Peabody's hand snuck between the buttons of her shirt to cover something. Peabody, are you wearing a cross? What, me? I think Peabody believes in vampires. Ugh. Mm. Oh, so then they get to the club, and then they meet the guy. Um, they go into the club, and it's completely vampirish, set aside, dark, red. And this guy comes towards them. He crossed the main level and his eyes locked with Eve. She felt the jolt. She could admit it. His eyes were like ink, deep, dark, and hooded. As he walked towards her, his lips curved in a smile that was both knowing and confident. And in the smile, she saw something that didn't cause that quick physical jolt, but a deep and churning physical dread. Good evening, he said in a voice that carried a trace of some Eastern European accent. I'm Dorian Vadim. This is my place. Through her throat had gone dry. Eve gave him an acknowledging nod. Lieutenant Dallas, she drew out a badge yet again. Detective Peabody McNabb, and no introduction necessary. There was another quality to him now, which seemed to be a prickly combination of admiration and envy. I'm aware of Rourke and of you, Lieutenant. Welcome to Bloodbath. Ah, come on. You gotta have fun. Let's see. Um, so they talk about Kent, and he smiled, and when he said his glass, his knuckles lightly brushed Eve's hand. If you want to know if I betted her, you only have to ask. I didn't, though it was tempting. Bad for business, wouldn't you agree? He said to Rourke, sex with clients is a tricky business. It would depend on the client and the business. Rourke's voice was a silky purr, a tone Eve knew was dangerous. Other things are bad for business as well. As if acknowledging some unspoken warning, Dorning angled his head in a slight nod, shifted his body away from Eve's. Did you tell her you were a vampire? Did you tell her you could turn her? Dorian slid on a stool and laughed. Yes, to the first, it's part of the atmosphere. As you can clearly see, the core clientele come in here for the thrill, the eroticism of the occult, the thrill of the possibility. Certainly part of the draw is the fear and the allure of the undead, along with the dark promise of eternal youth and power. So you sell it, but you don't buy it. Let's just say I enjoy my work very much. Do you believe in vampires, Lieutenant Dallas, in those prey on human and thirst for blood? I believe in the susceptible, in the foolish, and in those who exploit them. She was drugged first. Eve took a careless glance around and hated that her chest felt tight. I wonder how many illegals I'd net if I ordered a sweep of this place. I couldn't say. We both know such things aren't as regulated underground. Just as we both know that's not what you're here for. She wants a sample of his blood, and he pulls out a needle and a vial, and he's all set to give it to her. Like, oh, good God, really? Um, so then they talk to the one of the waitresses, and actually, she's the bartender, and then she ends up dead. So something's going on there, but we'll leave that alone. Um, I mean, she knows it or believes it. You're capable of snapping her statement, and he's equally capable of snapping her neck with a great deal less passion. Wouldn't disagree. I just wonder why you'd say that after one conversation with him. I would have said it after one look at him, his eyes. He's a vampire. Her mouth dropped open as he stopped the car. She hadn't managed to get words working with her thoughts until she pushed out of the car, rounded the hood to meet him. You said what? I mean it literally. His type sucks the life out of people and does it for monetary pleasure, just as effectively as a fictional vampire. And he's just that, Eve, darling. Soulless. Like her father, Eve thought. Yes, Rourke had seen it. He'd seen all of it. There was nothing strange or frightening about recognizing a monster. It only meant she understood her quarry. Eve stepped in, pulled off her jacket, and gestured toward Somerset. Rourke's major domo, who was inevitably dead, stood waiting in the foyer. I always figured vampires looked like that, pale, bony, dour, and dead. She tossed the jacket on the newel post and headed upstairs. Will you be having dinner in the dining room like normal human beings this evening? Great work, and nobody who looks like you should toss words around like normal. We'll get something upstairs, Rock says. I think I'll start with an appetizer, he says, and he goes after Eve, and they have some bedroom activity. Um, One more for the book. Uh, they're in the lab. Oh God, was she? I forgot about Dickhead. She's in the DNA lab, the science lab, and it was obvious Berensky had been expecting a battle. Now caught off guard, he was more accommodating than he normally would be without a substantial bribe. Well, if we got the DNA in the system, I'll find it for you. I did a standard search, crapped out. Global. Yeah, do I look like this is my first day on the job? But I didn't run the deceased. Blood from a corpse? How's that going to end up in the mope's brains? Not in his veins, in a damn vial he palmed off on me. Can you do a global search, deceased donor? Sure, how fast? Watch and learn. He went back to the station, the long white counter with comps and screens, and sliding back and forth on the keyboards, he began to work. Verbal orders, manual keys. While he ran searches, Eve drew out her link and tried Feeney. Her old partner and captain of EDD popped on screen. He had a Danish in one hand and a mouthful of hefty bite missing from it. Yo! Rourke's on his way in. Put him to work. I've got a link trans voicemail from a Vic while she was being attacked. Lost the trans almost as soon. It's dark, it's jumpy. But if you can clean it up, I might burn this bastard quick. Take a look. This is your vampire? Come on. Hey, before your time, I took down this person who was grave robbing, then sewing parts together. Thought he could make himself a Frankenstein. Well, shit happens. We'll take another. Yeah, early this morning. And they work on it. That was the last one. But it's a good story. Does the guy turn out to be a vampire? The ending is a little on the spooky side, a little on the suggestive side. It leaves it open. So you gotta check it out. Gotta have a good time. Gotta let it go. Some of your, all the vampire puns in the book. Just enjoy it. And then if you want, let's see. Mary Blaney, Amy and the Earl's Amazing Adventure, and Mary Kay McComas on the Fringe. But otherwise, just read Eve Dallas. It's good. Book 24 and a half. And next week, book 25. Have a good one.